Alright, now is everything up? Hi, Rose! Alright, yep, everything's up and running. Steve's, yeah, doing great. Yep. Alright. Now, to begin. Let's see. Here we go. Okay then, you come straight from the archives of House Fortemps. I trust your time there proved fruitful? Would it that it had. Oringer and I scoured countless ticks, but found was of questionable veracity. Hmm. Also, Shiva's life and deeds are sparsely and contradictory, only agreeing upon one point. She lay down with the dragon, the greatest of all sins, according to Ishgardian faith. Yet in the eyes of Iceheart's followers, this was a holy act, the blessed union of man and dragon. How such a thing could even be possible is quite another question. Suffice to say, I very much doubt we'll find anything useful in the archives of House Fortemps. Much knowledge has been lost over the centuries, though in this case, one wonders it's by circumstance or design. You said the iceberg took a moment to plead her case prior to escaping, did you not? Viewed without prejudice, most would agree that bringing an end to endless war serves the greater good. I think Sir Akron might take issue with her method. I do not care if you struggle to manage to escape. Until sappers confirm that the tunnel is safe, the men are not to search it. Yes, Lord Commander. If you fails with less zeal than I expected, Sir Amric. Unless you misunderstand, I do not deny our enemy has given us a good reason to be prudent. I merely meant, you being a man of faith that I expect Sir and single-mindedness. After all, was it not by the will of Helen that your ancestors came to this land? Why they took up arms against the Dronovans? What would they have done in your position, I wonder? There are those who believe faith is a reunification of free will, that unquestionable devotion is required of all who would live a life of service to the Fury. Such righteous fervor might as well serve a knight on the front lines, less so a leader of men. We are all at liberty to interpret the scriptures as we will. I choose to believe that the Fury would value the lives of her followers over the death of her enemies. But I do not presume to speak for the Knights of El. 'Twas a different time, a different era, and the scriptures tell us only so much. Would that it told us more. A man's awful fragment for a servant of the Holy See. I'll come trait at the negotiation table. To be sure, less so when one's enemies are making ready to harness the power of God. Mayhap he does not truly believe Isid's plan can succeed. Truth be told, I remain somewhat skeptical. Shiva was real, a living, breathing woman. Of that there can be no doubt, and she differs from every other figure to have been summoned. Each of whom was worshipped as a god. The sole exception being good King Mughal the 12th. The myth made manifest in response to a fervent supplications of the Mongols' guard. Saint Shiva may differ, but what of the heretics? They are a tribe of outcasts as war with the mighty nation who yearn for the resurrection of the one who will embody their beliefs. If that's not placing one's faith on a higher power, then what is? Crystals and conviction, Mefina. They have them both in abundance. Can that truly be all that is required? The server team has concluded primarily, and a list of the Aetheryte Ice Heart used to escape. They believe that she teleported to another Aetheryte somewhere not too far to the west. Despite the apparent proximity of the second Aetheryte, however, they have been wholly unable to detect its I don't really look at it on Twitch. I mean, not on Twitch, on my phone. Despite the apparent proximity of the second Aetheryte, however, she had destroyed it to prevent her from following her. Without means to teleport as she did, we have no choice but to search for an alternate route, most likely a tunnel, assuming one exists. Okay. Let's not give hope up on the teleportation just yet. One of our colleagues in Charlotte may be able to assist us. I pray you were right. I do not think how long it would take us to survey the entire tunnel system. While Fina looks into our Aether problem, I would like to request your assistance with another matter. The third unit is currently tracking the remnants of the Heritage Force, which attacked us. However, the search goes poorly despite our numbers. Korthi is fast, and Ice Hearts follow into the terrain far better than me. Your knowledge of this region may serve to hasten the process. The sooner we capture Ice Hearts followers, the sooner we can press them for the leader's whereabouts. Also, though it's a merely selfish request, I feel that my race would benefit immensely from working alongside you. While we have a share of veterans, we also have more than a few less experienced recruits. Many of them look up to you, in case you are not aware. Good. I knew you would understand. You usually can praise you of the details. The task is complete. Come find me at the observatorium. Captain Elbert and I are meeting there to discuss the latest development in this investigation. The Temple Knights shall hold Snowcloak in our absence. Let us leave them to their work. Ours is more pressing. There you are, Delta. Commander Lower instructed me to wait for you. Your assistance is most welcome, believe me. Most of the third hail from Ul'dah, and for a man accustomed to feel sand beneath his boots, the crunch of snow can be rather disconcerting. But the matter in that hand. Nary a moment ago, I received word that the heretics we seek have been spotted in Dafton Pass. My raves are already in pursuit, and I should be grateful if you would join them. Myself shall be taking part in the hunt. Nevertheless, he said, I do not earn my coin. Mm-hmm. All as well as my ankle is on fire. Caught my boot on a rock or something, twisted as I fell. The others went ahead to their Johnson patch. Hurry and you might catch up. If you aren't sure where to go, look for tracks. The snow is fresh, so they shouldn't be hard to find. Mm-hmm. Please, southeast. Son, what are you doing here? Heretics? I'm not sure. There was a great skill beast and I think he went to the east on his own. The heretics split up, so we did too. So I so didn't fall on the heretics' tracks that almost failed to notice they had doubled back. Almost, mind you. One tried to sneak up behind me and got a knife, and he got for his troubles. I thought myself alone, so I started searching the dead man's knapsack for anything of interest, and lo and behold, before his friends found me, I came upon this. Withdraw in groups of 3 or less to the observatory, give the signal, and wait. The merchant will be watching. Be late or be left for dead. Speak for itself, does it not? They can't possibly mean the rendezvous inside the place, so we should restrict our search to the surrounding area. Let me phrase, you should restrict your search to the wilderness around the observatory. I will need more than a moment's rest to recover from these wounds. Oh, yeah, the Fenrir. As you're listening with your excuse, we leave now. How? The woods are crawling with those blue coats, and the knights are searching every wagon that passes through the gates. We'll stay with her, then, if you think you'll fare any better. No, there's no need for that. There are places like this in my home, in sacred snow-capped peaks where blood must not be shed. Yet your lands even thirsts for the blood of the fallen, and by your deeds it has drunk deep. No, I have done no wrong. None but meet in secret with heretics. Deny all you will. We shall have the truth from you yet. Inquisitors are not the only ones skilled in the art of interrogation. Damn it all. Fancy meeting you here, Delta. I presume your work with the third brought you hither? What a tangled web, lest you wonder, we came not for the heretics, but for the merchant who has been conspiring with them. He came to our attention during the course of our investigation into the Ivy. A beggar's belief, I know, but it seems our favorite Gullian spy may have been providing assistance to Iceheart. Were it not for the efforts of Lady Yuguri and her shinobi, we might never have discovered this connection. Master Alphonod is too kind. I fear my people and I have done little to aid your search for this spy. We long to strike back against the Empire and weaken their influence in this land to prevent the tragedy which befell Doma from reoccurring. Days ahead and work they promise will require a very particular set of skills which I am fortunate enough to possess. If you will allow, I shall accompany you until the investigation is complete. That's more generous offer, Lady Yuguri. And one which I gladly accept. Thank you. Though I may disappear for time, know that I shall be far and shall always be watching. A comforted thought. Come, Delta, let us wait inside for Captain Elbert's return and deliver his report. Alright. Yeah. Captain Elbert seems confident that the merchant resolve would swiftly crumble when pressed. If so, we should have no information ere long. As to whether it will bring us any closure to learning Ivy's identity, it would rather not say. Given our adversary's cunning, I shall consider us fortunate in we have spared another wild dodo chase. The gods know we have more than enough to occupy our time as it is. Captain Elbert, your report, if you will. Now, Commander, firstly, with regards to her, I regret to say the man could tell us naught of what we already know of Shiva. God since handing him over to his guardians and authorities, henceforth the Holy See will pursue the matter independently. Our inquiries concerning the Ivy, however, have proven more fruitful. We have ascertained the channel in which the heretics acquired their information on shipment routes. Go on. You will recall the flame we identified as being in the Ivy's play. From him, we were able to trace a trail of conspirators, each seeking us closer to his master. Alas, the trail came to an abrupt end, fearing the investigation had been compromised. We took the necessary steps of detaining all suspected of the conspiracy. There were 5 on our left, including a flame stationed at Reverend's Toll. I mean, his primary duty was to keep inventory from donations abroad, in particular of which he would share with his benefactors, thereby ensuring that needs did not go unfulfilled. By virtue of his role, he was privy to details of all shipments bound for settlement. Needless to say, that included those originating from House Fortemps. He knew the precise route the caravan would take, and he sold that information to a merchant. I can guess which one. None other. With little encouragement, he'll soon confess to knowing, aiding, and abetting the heretics. With that one mystery solved, but what of the Ivy? Are there any more closer to prying off his mask? I dare say we are, Grimmer. Our relentless pursuit has forced him to commit a grave error. And to spread the cover's tracks, the Ivy resorted to exercising certain administrative powers available only to high-ranking members of the Immortal Flames. If you consider them that our investigation is known to barely a handful of them, the field of suspects is greatly narrowed. You say that Agent is Mon Rubon's innermost circle, someone who has been with him since the Immortal Flames establishment? This is the most plausible explanation. The infiltration likely occurred during the company's founding, with the groundwork for the act being laid beforehand. He slipped into a position of authority unremarked and remained above suspicion all these years. I, too, was surprised, though I really should not have been. One of the three grand companies, Odal was the most vulnerable to infiltration. Both Limits and Gurdinian had long-standing armed forces that lent themselves well to the formation of the Maelstrom and the Order of Twin Air. So, all intents and purposes, it was the same people, loyal ones, in mind under the same leadership, only the banner was different. Not so the Flames. The Odal military was made of disparate orders, most of which were glorified mercenary companies that answered only to their own paymaster. Hardly an ideal environment in which to establish something as high-minded as a grand company. The difficulties Rubon faced with founding the Immortal Flames are well known. Even after he had convinced his fellow syndicate members to share the cost, there remained the small matter of finding enough bodies to fill the ranks. Indeed, and given the pressing nature of the Imperial threat, that meant recruiting every passing sellsword. In the case of its founding, it would have been child's play to infiltrate the company. A good deal easier than now, The Immortal Flames have ever been caught between conflicting interests in the public and private. Though Monarchs ultimately agreed to support organizations founding, it was not out of charity they did so, but simply self-preservation. Had Alvan Darnus' ambition been any less apocalyptic, you may have been sure that they would never have risked supplying Rubon with an army. 'Tis but a wonder they did not attempt to extinguish the flames the moment the danger had passed. Returning to the present. Even as we speak, our Domino allies are shadowing several high-ranking flames. Any one of whom could be the Ivy. Desiring to deal a blow against the Empire, the refugee were eager to lend us their aid. I expect to hear from her along. Very good. Pray continue your investigation with the first. Meanwhile, have the second attend to the unrest, and the third can join the fourth in inspecting the crystal shipments. If they notice anything unusual, I want to know about it. If Shiva is summoned in a matter like other primals, the heretics will be looking for further supplies. Understood, Commander. Also wanted to Sir Amric, informing him of our success in the heretics' albetters. Hopefully the information will be of some use to the Ishgardians. It is time, Commander. Yes, I am aware. An emergency council of the Alliance leadership has been called. There have been developments in Garlemald, it would seem. As the commander of the Crystal Blaze, my presence has been requested. I will only have you accompany me, Delta. As the realm's Stars champion, 'tis only that you be present for the discussion. Oh, and the Acadent has already given her consent, lest you worry. Legmir doubtless eager to conclude the business with Iceheart, but until another path to the sanctum is found, she will remain beyond our reach. Montini and the Archons are sparing no effort to secure an alternate route. Until time is succeed, I suggest we give some thought in the realm's other problems. I shall go on ahead to Gurdinian to race for the coming council. Meet me at Nofix's altar, and we shall make our way to the lowest stand together. Thanks for coming, Delta. When you're ready, speak to Conjure yonder, and she will show us to Lotus Stand. Matsura waits you at the Lotus Stand. Will you be joining them now?
Change has come to the Garlean Empire, and we must discuss the implications.
The rumors are true, then? The War of Succession is ended?
It is. A new emperor reigns in Garlemald.
Who?
The birth and all too rapid expansion of the Garlean Empire is commonly attributed to the strategic brilliance of Solus Zosgalvis, yet he did not rule alone. Several members of the royal household also distinguished themselves during his reign. Nevertheless, it was the eldest son who stood to inherit the throne, until his most untimely passing.
I thought us fortunate when I learned that the Emperor had died without naming a successor.
Would that the Garlean Empire had died with him.
"'Twas the grandson and his uncle who had the strongest claims, was it not?
Indeed, yet claims count for little without the power to assert them. High Legatus Varus Ye Galvus is a respected military leader. Not so his uncle.
So young Varus has torn the crown from his uncle's grasp and taken his place at the head of the Empire.
Given the troubled nature of his succession, the new emperor will require time to seal his grip on power. Yet have no doubt but that he shall, for there are none left with strength enough to oppose him.
Since the success of Operation Archon, the remnants of the 14th Legion and the forces occupying Alamigo have done naught but fortify their positions. But you can be sure they'll be ready to march on us again, if their Emperor gives the word.
When, not if. They say this Varus was so set upon Eorzean annexation that he spoke out against the Meteor Project.
Plainly, the new emperor's intentions are of great concern to us all. I propose that we set aside the Cartano dispute for the present, and discuss what measures the Alliance might take to prepare for a resumption of hostilities with Garlemald. Moreover, I move that we re-examine the question of how our former allies in Ishgard might be persuaded to retake their place at our side. Could Eorzea but stand as one, 'twould deal a grave blow to our enemies' ambitions.
Mm.
Well, I suppose we should be grateful that they have finally acknowledged the inevitability of Imperial attack. Who knows? They may even do something about it. If only the leaders of Ishgard would follow their example and stop hiding behind their gates, praying for the coming storm to pass them by. But that is a discussion for another time. At present, I am more concerned by the fact that the Alliance's mooted preparations will be made known to the Garleans many moons before their coming. So long as the ivy eludes our grasp, no secret is safe.
Xavier knows the nations of Azoria are no nearer to bringing one purpose despite the protestations to the country. Playing their third resurgent Garland was not enough to stir them. And the reason for this? Deep-rooted mistrust amongst the citizenry. The nation's leaders can come to an understanding like that, but but the unity means little unless to the colony folk. Take Lemonsians, for instance. Through Admiral Metalweb, all other parts over a decade ago, foreigners still picture the nation as a heaven for grog-swilling, wooden-legged cutthroats. And likewise, Gardenians are mocked as hermits who talk to trees, and their Oldaws scorned as swindlers who worship coin. Note that sentiments are entirely without grounds, of course. Take the pillar of society, Odon's society, Tillhage Etology, for example. But that is besides the point. The fact is that people are wary of outsiders, whether they have cause to be or not. On the basis, one could argue that the conflict in Carno is a necessary evil. Each nation has its own warmonger faction that advocates the acquisition of Omega. In order to placate them, we present something resembling warfare to curb their appetite for full-scale conflict. But enough idle musing. Let us speak on more pressing matters, the Ivy. Since we spoke at the observatorium, Captain Ilbert has further shortened his list of subjects, and happy coincidence, the one he deems most likely candidate has lately come to Condonium. The hunt is near end. Delta, all that remains is corner of quarry. Seek out Ilbert near Otter's Nest, and he will give you their particulars. Should there be any diligence in Corthius, you may be sure that I will send word without delay. In the meantime, I wish you success in apprehending the Ivy. My thanks for coming, Sion. Dallas, the commander, has informed you, but we have unmasked the Ivy. From this point, we must proceed with extreme caution. Mm-hmm. 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 Well, the spy was seeking all the citizens other than Flame Marshal Ellen Vaughn, second in command. Prior to joining the Emerald Flames, she was a mercenary of no small renown. This her skills with polearm had to be seen to believed. Of a good hearting birth, she is the highest ranked foreigner in Immortal Flames, barring Flame General himself, of course. When he formed the Grand Company, Roland chose people based on their worth. Whence they hailed was of no interest. Mars saw things differently, however. Having funded the Enterprise, they reserved the right to reject candidates nominated for high-ranking positions. It was no secret they did not favor foreigners, Ishgardans especially, after the way the Holy See forsook the islands. Yet the Monarchs did not raise a murmur of protest when Roland was appointed to passing. Strange, is it not? Could it be that the Ivy had some hold over the Monarchists? These relations are secondary in their current mission. Our foremost interest was his role as present here. As we were, it is the duty of the Flame Marshal to command the Immortal Flames in the absence of the Flame General, while Ruben attended the Council of the Alliance Leaders. She should have remained in the Hall of Flames. That one has no business being Gurdon, and yet she is. Here she is, nonetheless. On some pretense, she is up to something, mark my words. Even as we have dozens of men toil in the Flames Darker for evidence of Roland's guilt, but if we can catch her red-handed, we shall have all the proof we need. Which brings us to a plan. I have people watching the city gates, the airship landing in the docks. Every point of grist, she cannot leave without knowledge. All that remains is shadow her until she betrays her true purpose. Can I rely on your eyes, Scion? You my thanks. Let us go take care and not to alert Earl Quarry. Raleigh is heading in the direction of Blue Badge Gate. With me, Scion. Sorrel has entered the calling company. Meeting someone for a chance? Or could she be means to board an airship? Pray look for her within. If she's not on the upper floor, try the landing area below. One of mine is stationed there, and she may have seen something. Effine is her name. I shall remain here in case Raleigh appears. I'll do it. It's such an unexpected pleasure. What brings you here? So pleasant. No, she didn't come this way. I know every person on board. Well, don't let me keep you. I've already seen. And you're sure she did not board the airship? She did not come out here. When someone look at you again. Bruce, how could I have forgot? Sir, man, she's moon tonic a cup a day and beats man of her if it takes my money here. Perhaps another time, friend. Wait, that necklace. You should know what I don't. When you see us left Gurdon by way of West Shore Pier. She was attired as a merchant, but these eyes are not so easily deceived. You may wish to take your search to East Shard. Rest assured that we will continue support from the shadows. Thank the 12 for the Domans. Were it not for their unique talents, Rosalia would have disappeared without a trace. I hardly see Shroud's on. As such, we follow Raleig's example, take the ferry from West Shore Pier. You doubtless wish to make certain precision to see them, and we'll go on ahead and wait for you at Sweet Bloom Pier. This way, my friends. Your quarry makes for her thorn hut. If Raleigh truly one we seek, we can expect that she means to make contact with her Garland masters there. Explanations are you're no doubt aware the Garlands have their own method of communicating over a great distance, while our ingenious friends in Garland Artworks have provided us with devices which disrupt these communications, and we have installed them around the city-states. In doing so, we have made it difficult for Imperial agents to correspond with their masters. Raleigh would thus have no choice but to rendezvous with an Imperial contact directly. Yet, as well-known face in the Mortal Flames, she cannot move about Thanalan without being recognized. It would only be a matter of time before someone saw through her disguise. 'Tis for this reason I believe she has chosen a black shroud for her clandestine meeting. The Elzin are common sight here, and her comings and goings are not likely to turn any heads. As our scouts tell, the Garlands have sent agents with a mind to destroy the devices and render such direct contact unnecessary. Unfortunately, our shinobi have thus far been successful in rebuffing their efforts. This is it. We need me for Hawthorne Heart to catch Rosalia in the act. The boy has departed for Bramble Patch. There rejoiced in Gnarls when she came, but perhaps it's all for the better. To convict someone of her sin will require damning evidence against her. What could it be that catch her in the act when she meets with her Garland masters? My countrymen and I shall lie in the shadows. Tread warily, my friends. Beyond. Raleigh is in conversation with an individual clad in a matter of adventure and imperial immunity, no doubt. This is it with me. The Marshal, you're under arrest for treason and espionage. You were followed, you bloody fool. Damnation. It's your cigar for Bob, but if you wish to fight, you are welcome to try. What is the meaning of this, Captain? Would you arrest me for strolling Tulsa? When I last looked, there was no crime, and neither was conversing with passing strangers. You would feign ignorance very well. If you think of something to say, there will be time to say it, and I'll come quietly, or I shall make you wish you had. I also know straight after all, not to hide. You know where Raval's own Reno could not have escaped by force. Despite her claims, her surrender does not speak innocence, but an awareness that her position is untenable. With Ivy thus uprooted, it is hoped that the tendrils she entwined around the world flames will gradually wither and die. Mayhap the people of Dole will have the grand company they deserve, but let us speak to the president if I may. What will you do now, Delta? So the Scions seek a way into his heart's sanctum. I dare say you're eager to return to Renaissance. Pray do not let me keep you. Fear not, my countrymen, and I shall tend to the aftermath. You need not waste your talents here. And speaking of talents, you have been training in the art of shinobi, have you not? The change in your being is quite evident, to me at least. I look forward to seeing you in action until next time, my friend. Oh, there was special dialogue! Yeah. Razatel, Carmen's Valley. Surely you're fortunate. Count Lady Uger, your friend. Vincent sails a lady girl almost bitterly. My heart's fair fit verses from admiration. Yes, but you're not. You're missing the point. The individual doesn't matter. It was a team effort, and I was the one who. Vital wills, the struggle for supremacy, our fighting styles may differ, but the unyielding spirit is the same word all over the world. I must admit, this extra of yours never fails to amuse me. While its movements appear comical, it does seem to have a desired effect. Well, I could do this all day. Oh, I cannot go on much longer. Strength, Tori, on your honor, the sign, or forbid you surrender. She can always seriously be considering it. Life as a street performer should be one's last resort, not their first. Tartar has grown beyond childish fantasies of becoming a songstress. Now she aspires to be a legendary street performer. Say not bad. With a little more practice, I could earn a fortune at Ruby Road Exchange. Welcome back, Delta. I understand that Alpha Node had a task for you. May I ask what it was? Charizard refused an espionage against Alien Rizzo. I can scarce believe it. Could there not have been some matter of misunderstanding? No, it avails us not to dwell on it. Whatever the truth may be, we must trust to authorities to uncover it. Let us speak of another matter. I am pleased to report that we have made progress in our efforts to find our way into Iceheart Sanctum. Alright. And I'm gonna be right back. I just have to go to the bathroom. Almost forgot. Alright. As you recall, Ezra used the Aetherite in the depths of Snowcloak to teleport to a short distance to the west. Most likely a sanctuary of some description. It is there we suspect she means to summon Shiva using the crystals she stole from House Fortum's cavern. The Herrics believe they are bringing about the second coming of their patron saint. If as we suspect they mean the whole summoning ritual of the kind employed by these tribes, it seems like the results will be something more akin to a primal. Suffice to say, they must be stopped, and stop them we shall, but first we must surmount the obstacle that Iceheart has placed in our path. Ordinarily, it would be a simple matter to tap into established Aetherite and follow your quarry. However, despite our best efforts, we have been unable to ascertain the possession of the Aether to which she teleported. Our prevailing fear is that she destroyed the second Aether upon arrival, a reckless, desperate measure, but also an effective one. After discussing the matter at length with Uranger, we have concluded that the lack expertise to develop solutions, which is why we call upon the aid of one who does and possesses such expertise. A colleague of ours is currently en route to Rowan's from Charlene. She should be arriving within an hour, in fact. Since you're here, mayhap we could welcome her together. I'm certain she would appreciate the gesture. Let us make our way to the northern gates and await her coming.
Minfilia, am I right?
None other. I bid you welcome to Revenant's Toll, and thank you for traveling so far on such short notice.
As if I could ever say no to Urianger.
Moonbreeder is an accomplished Sharlayan scholar and an authority on Aetherite technologies. She has played an invaluable role in our search for a means to capture Ascian souls.
Charmed, I'm sure.
Let's return the rest at once. We have much to discuss.
it's been ages.
Oh, longer, sister.
A joyous reunion indeed.
Well, of course it is. Moon and I are like twin sisters.
Save in appearance and aptitude.
Everyone, if I could have your attention. We have with us an esteemed guest who has come from Sharlayan to assist us. I bid Moonbreeder join us here that she might share with us her extensive knowledge of Aetherites. Also, as many of you are already aware, she has been overseeing our research into white auracite, a sample of which she has been good enough to bring with her.
Well, I had to come, didn't I? You'd have to be bloody daft to turn your nose up at a chance like this. Where better to conduct my final tests than a land so steeped in ether you can taste it?
'Tis plain the passage of the years hath done little to dampen thy youthful spirits. And nothing at all to reform thy youthful manner.
Mm-hmm.
Oriange, where in the hells have you been hiding?
Unhand me.
I come all this way, and that's what you have to say to me. I much preferred when you were pleading with me to drop everything and hurry to your side. What was it you said? None save thee can satisfy this need.
Go on. Thine artless attempts to misrepresent mine all too innocent motives do thee little credit. Mine intent, as well thou knowest, was but to impress upon thee the gravity of the circumstance. Lest thou doubt, a deiform entity shall shortly be summoned, save if thou and no other grantest my compeers thine aid.
You still haven't found it, then? Your missing Aetherite?
We have not. No. We know that Iceheart teleported to an Aetherite not far from the first. Yet even after careful analysis, we could not locate the second beacon. We now suspect that the heretics destroyed the second Aetherite to impede our pursuit. Our allies continue to scour Snowcloak for Iceheart's sanctuary, but we have no guarantee that they will find it. Yet it must be found, for even now Iceheart prepares to call upon Saint Shiva.
I'm sorry, but if the Aetherite's been destroyed, then that's that. Although, you're absolutely sure she used the first Aetherite, are you? She didn't just use teleportation magics?
One of our own bore witness to her escape. I can say with absolute certainty that Iceheart used the Aetherite.
In that case, there might be a way, so long as the ethereal current is still flowing.
Truly? How?
We use the current to recreate the beacon. As you know, Aetherites are a bit like lighthouses. We use them to reconstitute our physical forms when crossing the ethereal sea. Without them, we'd lose all sense of direction and our essence would dissipate. However, we don't rely solely on these beacons. There are currents of ether which flow between them, currents which help guide us to our destination. Now, these currents will gradually dwindle away to nothing if an Aetherite is destroyed. But if even a sluggish flow remains, we could theoretically use it to direct a surge of concentrated ether towards the void left by the beacon, and thereby fill it up again.
Hmm.
Like opening the floodgates to fill a dry riverbed. Though, correct me if I'm wrong, but would we not need a veritable reservoir of ether?
In concert, we might manage to channel a sufficient volume, yet that is not my chief concern. To direct the flow of so great a volume of ether with the requisite precision would be a nigh impossible task in itself.
I barely succeeded in facilitating travel to an unattuned beacon. That which you describe sounds considerably more difficult.
And dangerous. Every person who has attempted to teleport in this fashion has died in the process. They, however, did not have white aura sight at their disposal. I can use it to channel all the ether you can give me into the aetherite. However, white aura sight cannot retain ether for an extended period of time, so we would need to infuse it immediately beforehand. Just so you know, I'd confidently give this plan better than even odds of success. And if the worst comes to worst, your people won't suffer.
Though it risked the lives of our best and brightest, we have not the time to seek other options. If the ethereal current still flows, we shall carry out Moonbreeder's plan.
That's the spirit. Let's roll the dice.
Alpha Nutter planned to retreat the beacon in the manner Monroe described. He agreed despite the inherent danger. Your residents are our only hope of success. He also said he wished to meet you with Snow Proceed. I expect you'll find him waiting for you when you arrive. I want you to know that I appreciate everything you've done on behalf of Delta, and I have faith that you will return to us as you have always have. Let's pray for safe return. Over years I learned it's better to busy yourself with things you can control than worry about things you cannot. Not moving for when you return, understood? Yeah, if you be too alone, could not resist full scale assault, mayhap. We better adjust the plan of evacuation should worst come to worst. If falls you and I hold on to ensure those imperial dogs not set foot in rising seas, the tragedy of all concerns must never be repeated. Darwin and Hazan are about to take their posts. It seems even the children are starting to understand the gravity of the situation. I'm ready. Hazan, are your preparations complete? My father has agreed to take care of Yalzan for me. The children need role models, and we must do what we can do in our power to provide them. See, Delta, I was starting to wonder if you had second thoughts. Captain Albert sends his regards, by the way. He attends to the interrogation of Ellen Rosa and Ilda even as we speak. But I shall not distract you from the matter at hand. We have discussed the IVS upon your return. I trust that, by which I mean him. The others are waiting for us. Stay through. I saw you, son. There. It is ready. It worked, I think. I tune into the threat is not now. Feel for the current, try and locate the beacon. Well, we have done all we can, Delta. For now, let us withdraw. When your final preparations are complete, you must seek out the beacon we have created. If by the grace of Tove you arrive safely, you must stop Iceheart Heart before she summons Shiva. I ignore the possibility that our actions have alerted Iceheart to our plan. Should that be because she may attempt to hasten the completion of Summoning Ritual, and if she succeeds, you have little choice but to face Shiva in the battle. Knowing little of this thing, I cannot say of my own strength will suffice, and so I encourage you to call upon your allies. Some may have reservations about wagering their lives on the success of Wanderer's experiment, but others will surely agree that desperate times call for desperate measures. Before you assemble your party, please speak with that knight. I believe he has a message for you from Sir Hamrick. Madam Sir Hamrick regrets that he could not see you in her person. Asks I read you his list letter him. Ishgard faces an unprecedented threat, yet in our hour of need, it is not her knights who stand poised to defend her, Delta Levin, the warrior of light. Save your eyes, or your deeds this day shall not be forgotten. Where others would flee, you chose to remain. Where others would falter, you rise to the challenge. Where others would use their gifts for selfish ends, you wield yours in service to a greater cause. May Halon bless you with good fortune and see you safely home. Wait. Hopefully it won't take too long this time. I remember one time waiting took half an hour. I really hope it does not take that long. Alright, come on. What? No. Oh, what's happening? Hmm? I wonder how long it's gonna take. This is. Alright. Mhm. This is gonna be wait this time. Mm. Really? It did not take as long as it did last time.
You should never have come here, warrior of light. I labor only to forge a lasting peace. A peace you would deny us out of ignorance and blind faith. No matter. If it is our fate to be at odds, then it is mine to strike you down. We whom gods and men have forsaken shall be the instruments of our own deliverance. Partake of my flesh. Fill this vessel with your light. Walk amongst your brothers and sisters once more. Oh, Saint Shiva, still the hatred within our hearts and bless us with eternal grace.
What in the world? No. Was music's not bad. Dang it, no, the music's over already. Mm. Mm.
Fool. Blind, bloody fool. You, of all people, should understand the suffering war begets. That no sacrifice is too great if it brings an end to the violence. Mine is the righteous cause. You fight in a war you do not understand. A pawn of liars and schemers. And they are no less ignorant than you, following the creed of their fathers without question, never thinking to ask why. Trapped in a delusion of their own creation, and blind to the truth. Warrior of light, redemption is not beyond us. We who walk before may lead those who walk after. Seek the keeper of the lake. See with eyes unclouded. Do not squander Mother's gift. Hear, feel, think.
What? What?
And so the vessel withdraws, a predictable outcome. Nevertheless, La Habrea will be pleased. How unfortunate.
Damn. It's the end. But oh, you're alive. I mean, of course you're alive. Why wouldn't you be? Iceheart did what? And you certain about that? Gentlemen are skilled with glamours, after all. Look, if you say that's what you saw, I believe you. It's true that I never heard of a problem being summoned like that before. And you're sure you're not injured? Head trauma has been known to cause hallucinations. Fair enough. I was only asking. It gets me there's not to be gained from mulling over the implications of your story in the freezing cold. Let's save it for the rising soon, Zay. I'll get everyone else to meet us there. Before that, best pay a visit to White Brim Front and speak with Alphinoid. He's probably worried sick about you. That or he's busy playing at politics with his guardians. Either way, I'm sure I'll be able to delighted to see you hale and healthy. Speaking of which, you don't have a headache or anything, do you? But Virgin on Origin. See you again soon. All right. There's just no force. Was there any doubt that the warrior light would succeed? I think I'll speak for us when I say nothing more than here's stir until we reach you if you would be so kind. Then we were too late to prevent summoning, but not too late to prevent further loss of life, an outcome worthy of subversion. One which we have Delta to thank. Yes, you're right, of course, Sir Amric. We should be content with what we have accomplished. I, for one, could not withstand for a better outcome. Shiva is no longer a threat, and the heretics have been routed. There is the matter of Iceheart's escape, but she cannot run forever. Whether it takes days, weeks, or moons, or even years, my knights will find her. In the meantime, Lurt, Delman, is the caravan ready? The supplies that your men recovered have been prepared for transport in accordance with your wishes. Rest assured that my knights will see them safely to Reverend's Toll. Of that I have no doubt. I take it these are the self-same supplies the heretics stole from House 4 times caravan? Bless the crystals which comprise the bulk of the shipment, yes, scarcely a fraction of which was promised, but a meaningful contribution to your cause all the same. Oh, no, normally I know it, Delta. Might I trouble you to accompany me to Camp Dragonhead at your convenience? This is not for my offense. A certain lord was most distressed when he learned you intend to risk your life and lend to stop Iceheart. It took half a dozen knights to restrain him. I'm told. Men give vent to anxieties in myriad ways. Pray not think less of him. I'm gonna be right back. I am back. Alright. What do you think, Delta? Urging your very being on Dupe's theory, which might allow you to answer Isis for later, knowing full well that she could have sufficient forewarning to complete her ritual and summon Shiva anyway? And then engage in the bondage more combat. But I fear, Delta, this is stuff of ballads. I've been all for ages. Would I have been there to fight by your side? Yet here I was forced to wait, condemned to wonder of the fate of a dear friend for venerable eternity. Would not wish the torture of my most hated enemy. But you're here now, and that is truly matters. Let's move on. Ceramic wishes to have words with you and Master Alpha in private. He waits you in an intercessory. Greetings, man. I'll show you in at once.
On behalf of the Holy See of Ishgard, allow me to express my deepest thanks. Never before have we been required to contend with a primal. Indeed, there were fears in some quarters that our knights might not be equal to the task. From what we have now learned of these beings, I can say with certainty that we would have lost a great many men had the Scions not intervened.
Then the argument for preemptive action should be self-evident. Perchance now you will reconsider my proposal that Ishgard move against Nautalon.
Ere we first met, a similar proposal was tabled, but the Holy See decreed that we were to observe, and that military action should be taken only in self-defense. All things considered, it was not an unreasonable decision. Since the calamity, 2 vigils have fallen to the Horde, while Garuda has never shown any inclination to storm the gates of judgment. Which is why this unprecedented crisis and its resolution may prompt a change in policy. You who have faced these primals know well the threat they pose. Ishgard did not. Not until now. And there is naught like a brush with death to change a man's outlook.
At the very least, this should silence any lingering objections to our arrangement with Revenant's Toll. The Holy See may even feel moved to grant us its formal endorsement.
So far as it is possible, the Scions shall be compensated for their service.
We should be grateful for any aid you can provide.
As a gesture of good faith, I shall withdraw my previous request. Your people are doubtless needed elsewhere.
That will not be necessary. We too have a vested interest in watching Dravania's movements.
I see. Once more, I must thank you.
Sir Emmerich, if I may, do you truly believe that Midgard-Zoma could return?
The heavens are a window unto truth, but those who interpret their movements are not infallible. I requested your involvement as a precautionary measure.
But of course, you sought an excuse to compensate us from the first, mindful of what would happen if Revenant's toll were taken by your enemies. Ishgard is not wont to aid its neighbors, but that does not preclude it from manipulating them to serve its own interests.
Choose your next words carefully.
Do you know what sort of man becomes Lord Commander of the Temple Knights? One who comes from good stock. I did not. Yet here I am now. Why do you suppose that is? Because I swiftly learnt to tell the difference between words, deeds, and beliefs. You are correct, Master Leveilleur. Ishgard desires to see Revenant's toll flourish, as it would present a troublesome obstacle to our enemies from the south.
We are so glad to be of use to you.
As we are to you. Ours is a mutually beneficial arrangement, lest we forget, one born of necessity. The dragons grow more restless by the day, and the heretics harry us nigh without cease. We have contended with such troubles for centuries, but there are limits to even our endurance. Yet as a pauper is loath to part with his meager possessions, the leaders of Ishgard are not wont to render up their trust to outsiders. But with perseverance on our part, they may yet be made to see the light. Nevertheless, one must take care when walking the road less traveled.
Wise words, Sir Emmerich. I shall make a point to remember them. I must apologize for my earlier outburst. I hope it will not sour our good relations.
Not at all. You but spoke from the heart. I trust you understand that at times my duties may prevent me from meeting with you. On such occasions, my second-in-command will speak for me.
Lucia, at your service. Pray excuse our reticence. We are but wary of speaking too freely, lest our sentiments be made known to our enemies. Know that the Lord Commander and I are of one mind. For the sake of Ishgard, and of Eorzea at large, I pray our peoples can put aside their differences.
I know where
Those
to
who
go.
dwell in the past risk losing sight of their future.
Oh, of course. Exit after this.
Should aught befall one of our shipments, pray inform Lucia immediately. You may also relay to her any words you might have for me alone. Not being of Ishgardian birth, she owes no allegiance to any noble house, making her as near to incorruptible as one can find in my homeland. Suffice it to say, I trust her completely, and so may you. Which reminds me, Lord Orchefort, if you would be so kind.
Certainly.
In times such as these, trust is ever in short supply. Mayhap this will go some way to rectify the problem. The results of our investigation into the heretics' recent attacks, as well as our interrogation of the merchant you detained.
Sir Emmerich, I cannot thank you enough.
Think nothing of it. Ishgard may be many things, but it is no friend to Garlemald.
Did I not tell you to have faith, my friend?
Oh, I'm back. Yay. It seemed much discussed with her friends at Rising Stones. What we say is true. Iceheart's method of summoning Shiva defies all precedent and is necessary to replace all the primal threat and approach in combating it. Moreover, there are great ramifications if the words of the incident reaches Imperial ears. The Garlean Empire believes primals are insufferable menace, that their mere existence is a threat to this very star. As such, they deem any action taken against the beast tribes to be justified by default. Imagine then if it became known that it was not only beast tribes of Azuria that could summon primals, but the civilized people as well. Any lingering objections to an Azorian campaign would vanish overnight. Where before we had to contend with a single Imperial Legion, we could well find ourselves facing the combined might of all of Garlemald. But I speak unadvisedly. Come, Delta. It is better that we continue this conversation in Mordana.
Words cannot well express how glad I am to see you return to us hale and whole. Needless to say, I am most eager to hear your account of that which occurred in Kurthis, assuming you're ready to speak of it. Excellent. I shall summon the others at once. Iceheart used her own body as a vessel for a primal soul?
Master Louisoir's writings make no mention of such a possibility. Can we be certain this entity was a primal?
As certain as we can be that good King Mogulmog the 12th was a primal, I should think. Both were ostensibly summoned.
Let's not quibble over definitions. Of more concern is the implication that Iceheart retained her will, even after she was possessed. We are talking about a mortal, wielding the power of a primal.
It can't possibly be that easy, can it? There must be some sort of sacrifice required. Or maybe she's just special?
What qualities this woman possesseth, I know not. But full sure am I that she was groomed for this role. Few are privy to the secrets of summoning, and but a single party standeth to profit from their dissemination.
Well, I wouldn't presume to comment on how the lass came to know about summoning, but I will say that what she summoned was a primal. The readings were the same, or near as damn it. Strange as it all sounds, it's really no different from what you've faced before.
Then mayhap it is time that we re-examined our previous encounters.
Pack your things, Ida. We're going back to Gridania.
Yes, sir.
About Iceheart's final words to you. Hear, feel, think. Hydaelyn speaks to her as well. If Iceheart is blessed with the power of the Echo, she will doubtless have used it to further her goals. Or could it be that it was a revelation granted her by the Echo which first set her on this path? She did say that the Ishgardians were blind to the truth. Do you think she has knowledge of the origins of the Ishgardian-Dravanian War? It would do much to explain her unwavering conviction.
Did not the Lady Iceheart implore thee to seek the Keeper of the Lake? And did she not imply that in so doing thou wouldst come to see with eyes unclouded?
Midgard-Zoma was a king amongst kings who reigned for centuries on end. But he is dead and his wisdom lost to the ages. Unless the Ishgardians' fears are well-founded. It would seem we have yet another reason to stand watch over the Keeper of the Lake. For a mercy, we are well positioned to do so. Iceheart, Shiva, Ascians, and Midgard-Zoma. I shudder to think how they're all connected.
I mean, scouted the annals for knowledge of Nizgarmar. Given his great age, I dare say he appears in more than a few. Do you hear that commotion outside? Would you see if aught amiss? The lawyer on him, no problem, has escaped. Shortly after her immortal flame secured the custody, she had been placed in the judging cell ahead of her trial, but apparently the combination was not to her liking. The turnkey was found slain along with 2 guards, displaying she received inside help. Citizens reported seeing Raleigh quitting the city via the gate in Ald with a bloodied spear in her hand. She makes for Castrum Midarim, I'm certain of it. With her fate is there as good as sealed, what records that she was flee to her imperial masters. Even as we speak, Captain Alberta and the first are hot upon Rollis Hill. Pray, make haste to Camp Blue Frog and join the hunt. Thanks for coming, Sam. The spoken soldier, they say that Rolly walked through Camp Belgium, and she walked right through to Monsieur with her position to keep the matter a secret, saying for that. Bad for morale, he said. As a result, not a single flame in the garrison made any attempt to detain her. So here we are. Raleigh must not be allowed to reach Castrum Minium. Come on. Mr. Raleigh threw himself at us. Thought his mistress might escape. She didn't blink when we come down, not even say where to start screaming. No light to see, even to her own. They got down. Harvey. With my sign, we've almost had her. Find her and do it tight. Yes, sir. Man. She and her hero cronies pushed us close, but we bred her. You were the respected officer of the Immortal Flames. People looked up to you as one of the Order's founder members, one of its pillars. Their silence made to see you fallen so low. What would you know, Lo? Your spoiled little Lord has never known anyone. People such as you take wealth of birth for granted. You think your God's given right to rule over others. You know not of our plight, the injustice that we lowborn as guardians must endure. Said noble lords and ladies, we are not people with resources to be consumed. I did what I had to survive, stealing, killing, even harm myself. It's not fault of mine. Just fools imagine me a paragon when I join the flames. Do you tell it, one would think you're the only person ever to have suffered. In case you have forgotten, Robin himself was born into poverty, as was I. We lived hand to mouth, with little more than shirts on our backs. Hunger was our constant companion. Yet never did we bemoan a lot in life, nor did we wish others their fortunes. We accepted the hand that we had been dealt and played it to the best of our ability. Life was a battle, aye, but no more what fate threw at us. We took it on the chin and came back for more. Everything we have, we fought for. Are we any different then? 'Tis true that we were both mercenaries of the Lordverse, and it's true we both had our own fair struggles. Where I sold my sword, you mortal, you sold your comrades. If life taught me anything, it's that you never betray your own. I would sooner cut off my own arm than raise a hand against a friend. But enough talk. You'll return to Odal and face justice, and the people whose trust you have dragged through the gutter. Not so much of a hint remorse. It's as well as the sword business is finally at an end. A friend's betrayal cuts deeper than steel. We must hope that we have chosen our own allies more wisely than Robin chose his.
I have heard. Truly bothersome business. No, I do not foresee a problem on that front. The main concern is Roban. There is no telling what the brute might do. Have the Blades watch him in the flames day and night. You may leave the Sultana to me. I shall personally attend her grace. Sever one of the East Aldenard trade routes. That ought to keep Lolorito occupied for a while. Nanamo Ulnamo. For my sake, pray be a good little Sultana to the last.
Oh my gosh. Lord, and I have a few questions for the Flame Marshal regarding the circumstance of her miraculous escape. When we have completed our interrogation, we shall take our findings directly to General Rubon, and that shall be the end of it. Your work is done, my friend, thanks. But one last task. Return to Rising Stones and praise Melfina of this situation. I'm aware that Akhenet held Raleigh in high regard, for better or worse. She won't know how this tale ends. Straight down. was like so confused. It looks so different. Mm. Hmm. Rebecca. How are you? What was this use? Just for this, I don't believe so. How much does this go for? Nope, it does not sell. So just get rid of it that way. Serve, who has it? Okay, she has it. Oh yeah, the music for the... I really like the music for the, whatchamacallit fight, the Shiva fight. That was cool. Of course, the fight was just about ending right as I was getting really good. So... yeah. I wonder, does it have an orchestra roll? No.
Welcome back, my friend.
Is it
I have already
buffering?
received word from
Why is it
Anthony.
buffering? I did it before I did this quest. Is it buffering for you? Or is it just my computer, my Chromebook? Yeah, thanks.
To think that Flame Marshal Huayu was the Garlean agent. I know not what to say.
Was saying her name wrong the whole time.
Together with Robon, Eileen lent us much needed aid at the time of our Order's founding. She was particularly passionate about the need to tackle the primal threat. When we discussed the subject, her eyes fairly shone with determination. Whatever else she may have been, I choose to believe that it was her true self with whom I spoke then. But now is not the time to dwell on such matters. I have an important announcement to make regarding our effort to defeat the Asians. We shall begin as soon as everyone is assembled.
Ooh, I'm gonna start getting to capture them. Also, when Tajita or whatever his name is, I better get to beat him up because he's definitely doing evil stuff.
My thanks for coming, friends. Moonbreeder, the floor is yours.
Oh yeah. So since I was as ninja, Yagiri actually had like some extra dialogue. Here, I'll send you the screenshot I took later. I think that's his name. It's the whatever the Lalafell guy that's clearly doing evil stuff. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that guy. Because I just got another like a little bit back after I defeated her, whatever Roy, whatever, however her name was said. There was a little cutscene where I went to him, and he's very clearly planning to do evil stuff. Roy, you.
By now, I'm sure you're all familiar with white auracite, the miraculous material that'll allow us to capture Asian souls.
Does this mean? Because I remember last time I asked and you said that it was similar to soul trapping, like in Skyrim. So does that mean I can use the Ascian souls to make my weapons stronger? Like that cutscene where like she got lifted off the ground was so funny. That was more also that was more of a joke. I wasn't actually expecting me to be able to use them to make my weapon stronger. I was just making a silly joke.
Back at Snowcloak, we verified its ability to absorb vast amounts of ether. Alas, it leaves something to be desired in the area of stability. The stone can only store ether for a short while before expelling its contents.
In addition to auracite's inherent limitations, we must needs be wary of our enemy's strength. Our foe draweth upon an infinite wellspring of power. Even should we succeed in entrapping him, the stone will not long contain his wrath.
Meaning that, if we want to kill the swine, we'll have to be quick about it.
'Tis our belief that an Asian soul may be permanently undone, if smitten by a sufficiently concentrated burst of pure ether.
The only trouble is, we can't say for sure how concentrated the burst needs to be. Without knowing how much ether an Ascian soul is composed of, we're basically guessing.
Our sole clue lieth in thy struggle with La Hebrea.
During that encounter, Heidelin bid you forge what she called a Blade of Light, a weapon which took the form of a luminous stream of energy. Based on your description, we believe the blade with which you vanquished your foe was composed of ether. Admittedly, your victory proved ephemeral, as La Hebrea was able to use a crystal of darkness to flee into the space that lies between our world and the void. The fact remains, however, that Heidelin placed the means to destroy the Ascians in your hands. Be that as it may, it would be unwise to assume that she will do the same when we next encounter such a foe.
Quite so, my lady. We must needs find the means to forge our own blade of ether, one to equal that which Heidelin did benevolently bestow upon her champion.
That is all well and good, but it seems to me that producing such a blade will require a prodigious quantity of ether. Whence will it come, pray tell?
Oh, what if we had 2 pieces of white orosite? One to trap the Ascian, and the other to store the ether for the blade.
Oh, nice try. But it's as I said, the stone won't hold ether for any length of time. We'd still need to collect the stuff there and then, sorry to say.
Alright.
And therein lies the rub. Finding a way to create the blade whenever and wherever we choose.
It would seem more research is in order.
I'm going to linger a while, perform a few more tests on the orosite. And I could do with some help. Urianger, why don't you lend me a hand?
Ice Heart, you mean? I don't know what that name is. Yes, she said the thing that Chris Heidelin always says. All I know is that I have to go to some lake at some point.
Mine apologies, but I am required at the Waking Sands. Lady Minfilia hath given me sole charge of the premises. 'Twould be unseemly to leave them unattended.
Sole charge, you say? So you're basically alone there, then? Well, that settles it. I'll just have to come to you.
While you were afield, word arrived from the Sharlayan motherland. You will recall that a survey party was dispatched to investigate the incident at the Isle of Val. What they discovered was troubling, to say the least. According to the report, the isle has been erased from existence. 'Twas as if a hole had been torn in the very fabric of reality.
Aye, yet the mystery endeth not with the isle's disappearance. It hath come to light that a number of scholars in various other locales were reported missing at a similar juncture.
What's more, they all had something in common with the head of the students of Baldessian. Every last one of them was researching a phenomenon called dimensional compression, or the rejoining as the ancient texts call it. I'll be damned if that's a coincidence.
All indications suggest Ascian involvement, but I sense that a force greater still is at work. The entity the dark beings call the one true God. We must pray that my dear friend Kryl regains consciousness soon. If she bore witness to the Isle of Val's final moments, she may be able to shed some light on this mystery.
Following the calamity, the forces of the 14th Imperial Legion entrenched themselves in strategic locations across Eorzea. So swiftly did they accomplish this, it was suspected that they had received help. To think that it came from Huayu, my right hand.
There is more. We have reason to believe that Huayu didn't deal exclusively with the 14th. She also answered to a higher authority in Garlemald. But this higher authority could not have been the Emperor. By consenting to the media project, Solus Zos Galvus showed himself to be more concerned about preventing the spread of primal influence than claiming Eorzea for the Empire. He would happily have seen the lot reduced to ash. We believe a number of high-ranking figures within the royal household were against the decision, but that they knew better than to oppose the Emperor openly. Of course, this didn't prevent them from making clandestine provisions, in which Huayu played a part.
Alas, these provisions did not prevent Dalamud from falling, and the ensuing chaos changed the face of the realm forever. Yet Eorzea survived. To all intents and purposes, the Meteor Project had failed, and the Empire was left to rue its lack of a decisive means to eliminate the primals. Until, that is, it stumbled upon the Ultima weapon.
Even before the accursed thing was dug up, it seemed to me the 14th had the might to overwhelm our weakened armies. Yet they chose to hide behind their walls. Why?
The Black Wolf was wary of making the denizens of Eorzea desperate, lest more primals emerge to bleed the land. The discovery of the Ultima weapon, however, emboldened him to resume his war of conquest in earnest.
But there was one in Garlemald who believed that Van Belsar's actions were premature. One who stood higher in the Imperial Army's chain of command. He ordered the Legatus to halt his advance, only to find that the Black Wolf had slipped its leash, and that the 14th now acted alone. In a bid to bring Van Belsar to heel, he used the agent he had planted in Ul'dah prior to the calamity to undermine the Legion's efforts.
A man who outranks Van Belsar, yet opposed the late Emperor's decision to annihilate Eorzea. This could only be the former High Legatus of the Garlean army, now known as Emperor Varus Zos Galvus. So he was Huayu's true master.
But one of several in actual fact. We've learned that even as Huayu served the Empire's interests, she sold Imperial secrets to a certain faction in Eorzea. In so doing, she helped to maintain the status quo, thus prolonging the conflict. Considering who stands to profit from war, it isn't hard to imagine who her other masters were.
Seven hells! You mean to say that she was a double agent?
Triple, if you consider her services to Van Belsar and the new Emperor as separate.
As neatly as these pieces seem to fit, one aspect of the puzzle remains unclear to me.
Let's see.
By whose will was the Marshal feeding intelligence to the heretics? And try as I might, I fail to see how aiding their cause would profit either her Imperial or Monetarist masters. Could it be that another hand is at work here? If so, Huayu must be made to reveal whose it is.
Not only have I lost a trusted friend, now I must interrogate her as a stranger.
Not a pleasant task, I grant you, but a necessary one. Unless we weed out the ivy, root, stalk, and stem, it will simply grow back.
I know that full well. Those closest to Huayu have already been detained, and I will question them alongside her.
General, pray keep in mind that there may be unwitting abettors among them.
All will be treated fairly. On that you have my word. Those who are innocent have no cause to fear.
You have ever been a friend of truth, General. I hope the unpleasant task of weeding out falsehood will not detain you too long. Though it be for the sake of Eorzea, doubting one's comrades is poison to the soul. And with that, I take my leave.
All these years, I've been made to dance to their tune. How could you, Huayu? How could you side with them? Those cankers who take from this land and give naught in return, who use their power to disempower and grow fat while the people starve. I know you can hear me, monetarist scum. Your crimes will not go unpunished. One day I will purge this land of your sickness before the eyes of the 12. I swear it.
I shall have no further need of you this day. Your Grace. I fear that not even mine own chambers shall remain private for long.
Has the situation grown so grim?
Ever since he proposed the Cartiner Reclamation Bill, Teleji Adeleji has risen to greater prominence upon the backs of impoverished refugees. The monetarists were ever united in their pursuit of profit, but the man's actions have torn a rift in their ranks. They snap at each other as rabid dogs. Yet now is not the time to be bickering among ourselves.
If this bickering is a threat to law and order, might you not have grounds to dissolve the Syndicate?
Would that the solution were so simple, Admiral. Alas, my moving to dissolve the Syndicate is certain to spark outrage among the influential merchant class, whom the Cabal represents. This would serve to exacerbate the current unrest, and peace would slip still further away. Be they rich or poor, natives or refugees, all who reside in Ul'dah have a right to pursue happiness. It is the duty of a ruler to protect this right. If I am to perform my duty, I must needs tread warily. It would not do to make enemies heedlessly. Were Lord Lolorito here, he would doubtless say that I have my head in the clouds.
A ruler is required to take a wide view. Try as we might to cater to all needs, some will inevitably be overlooked. As such, there shall ever be citizens who feel aggrieved. It cannot be helped. But as you have informed us, the monetarists take no view but their own. They hunger for power while the masses starve. In the absence of a common cause, it seems beyond any one individual to make Ul'dah whole.
and the presence of a Garlean agent within the immortal flames only makes matters worse. Even accounting for Uldar's historic reliance upon mercenaries, such a grievous breach of security is unprecedented. I fear this business will provide the monitorists with a rod to beat Rauban.
Eorzea can ill afford for the immortal flames to be dampened now. Ere long, the Garleans will turn their ravenous gaze toward our lands once more. If we are to resist their might, our nations must stand together. Yet for this to happen, our nations must be whole. Cannot be done to improve the situation in Ulda.
The true wealth of Ulda lies in the health, happiness, and hopes of her citizens. Alas, the citizens shall never know these things, so long as their lives are ruled by the ambitions of the few.
Will we take them out?
The monitorists claim to represent the best interests of the people, but in sooth they desire only to manipulate them for their own selfish ends. For the government to serve the people, it must be formed of the people. For Ulda to move forward, it is not only the Syndicate that must be dissolved.
Nay, you jest.
My friends, it was for no other reason than to make known to you mine intent that I requested your presence here. When I make my declaration to the people, chaos shall inevitably ensue. As the last monarch in the line of Ul, I make unto you this request. Help Rauban to preserve order and protect the people. Forsake them, and you forsake yourselves. For a strong Eorzea will ever have need of a strong Ulda.
Your Grace, are you certain of this?
There is no other way. When the time is ripe, the nation shall become a true republic. Both royalists and monitorists shall cease to be. Ulda will no longer belong to kings or queens or merchant princes, but to her people. Rauban, forgive me for casting aside all that you have toiled for in my name. Beyond this gesture, I am powerless to help my subjects.
I sort of completely forgot where we were because of that whole cutscene. Alright, let's see what's next. I'm most eager to just ask the instead. However, we dare not neglect our other pressing concerns. We both know well that Saint Shivo will not be the last problem we face, and our relationship with Ishgard is still tenuous at best. To think the resolution of the primal threat was one's sole priority assigned to Seventh Dawn. Some days I wonder if it was wise for us to take on so many other responsibilities. Let's forget academic. The sign need not shoulder a burden alone. Were not the Crystal Braves established for this very reason? Sure, we are presented with a multitude of problems, however, we have the resources we need to address them in turn. Those in particular ever steady hand, who I trust will continue to support the Braves. What we all is pleasure. Have there been further developments regarding the situation in Ul'dah? I suspect that Immortal Flames have been struggling to cope with the revelation that one of their highest ranks officers was a Garlean agent. Suffice to say, Telegiaja and his Mara Silk have wasted no time until they turn the situation to their advantage. Coupled with ongoing unrest, the Flames are finding themselves hard-pressed. In general needs our help, and I will direct the Crystal Braves to offer the support they can. If I'm to stay abreast of the latest developments and issues affecting orders, however, I cannot afford to waste time traveling back and forth. For the foreseeable future, I think it would be best if we were to remain in Ul'dah, unless you have any objection. No whatsoever. We have matters here as well at hand. Monroe's research is proceeding as planned. So she tells me. I'm not familiar with the details. Morgan is pouring over his tomes at Wakeland Sands, and the others are contributing in their own ways. Alas, the key problem now is to form an ethereal blade that will remains unsolved. Nonetheless, it's only a matter of time. Dazo, while focus out to hand, maybe you could assist Alphanode and his braves with theirs. I do much to restore faith in the immortal flames of Warrior Light was seen working on their behalf. Never forget that your esteemed status allows you to act in ways those more tightly bound to organizations and nations cannot. And as ever, I implore you to do so. Whether your response was ever in doubt, but I humbly thank you once more for aiding our cause. Now then, there are preparations I must attend before my departure, such as receiving Earl's last report. Oh no. Stream still up? Yes, it is. It's just my Chromebook being annoying. His room kept skill in gathering information, others which kept secret, hence why I placed him in direct McKinnon in order to investigate the old Dawn Reddites. When you are finished here, join me outside. Depending on what he has to say, I soon may have a favor to ask. If there are any developments on our front, I shall inform you at once, in the usual fashion. So he absolutely exhausted from saving the realm on a daily basis. After this morning arrived, the rising stones have been buzzing with excited energy. I must admit, her enthusiasm is rather contagious. I am unfamiliar with the dishes of the lands in the north. Perhaps when Monobral has concluded her current research, she might decide to share with me her culinary knowledge. Monobral has charged us with acquiring some rather esoteric manuscripts, but I'm afraid this task is proving to be nigh impossible. The city of learning was abandoned. A great many tomes were scattered and lost. How smoothly our research might proceed, were we able to pursue the archives of yesteryear. We needed a rare order to modify the white arachite, and Thaumcrad solved the problem using only his link. I mean, it's great and everything, but where's the fun in that? When one is in need of precious commodities, it helps to have friends in right places. Fortunately, I'm well acquainted with the charming daughter of Cecil Uldana, a port merchant. These two have been telling me stories about the corrupted crystal formations that appear following Calamity. I'll need more data before I can draw a conclusion, but I'm intrigued at the potential of their untapped energies. We were stripling adventures tonight. We saw fire rain from the sky, and the pillar of light scorched the heavens. What a sight that was, eh? Hori and I were at Eastern Thanalan when a colossal shard of Dalaman pierced the ground. We stood witness to the subsequent explosion of ether, then watched dumbfounded as swirling energy solidified into those twisted crystal structures that we know so well. Oops. Almost didn't talk to them. Pleasure as always. Delta, you'll be restoring the commander to a dollar ticket. Actually, I had another task in mind for her. If you would so kindly repeat your report for her benefit. Right then. Me and mine have been making inquiries into the source of weapons, what found their ways into the refugees' hands way back. So happens we caught wind of something promising. A rather large purchase of sharp and pointy things by a black marketeer holed up near High Bridge. I doubt this man would have secured such quantity of weapons if he did not already have clients waiting, clients that, for whatever reason, would prefer for his transactions to remain secret. Brings to mind the merchant caught an arrow while talking to Delta. Generous fellow he was, doling out swords and spears to downtrodden and disgruntled. Which isn't to say that these clients have same mischief in mind. But if you want to be sure, it might be prudent to intervene before they collect their goods, savvy? Getting them up before they fall in the wrong hands would be for the best. However, if we strike at the appointed hour, we might capture the black marketeer as well as his clients. What say you, Delta? This is a rendezvous with Captain Albert at Highbridge and intervene when the exchange takes place. Now then, if you would excuse me, I leave for Ilda and expect good tidings. Oops, dang it, I did not mean to go back in here. If you're still here, what is this for? Because it doesn't have any recipes. It's an untradeable item. I got it from my retainer. I have no idea what this is for. Oh, it's a trade item. So, we're to go. Adults, my scouts have been keeping a close eye on the Black Marketeer, and it would seem that his guest has arrived. It all seemed that he has hired more than a few men to stand guard, common thugs of no consequence, but no less pose a threat. Even so, I feel compelled to abolish. This is far beneath the woman of your standing, and Commander Laurel needn't have dispatched you hither. But proper men ever have need of loyal, able-bodied friends. Having found one in you, 'tis only natural that he would come to rely upon you without hesitation. Okay. We should make for the burning wall without delay and secure those weapons. The first unit will ensure the clients do not escape. With me, Delta. By the one man, there are others, but sure to be others. I have a plan. Let you approach the sentry and create distraction. My men will slip hatch and catch the Black Marketeer unawares. Once you're disposed of the thugs, wait for us outside the tunnel entrance. Any questions? Then let us be off. Good luck, friend. You guys are a major damn fool. You should not have come here. Yay. Then what's this all about? Yeah. As you can see, this is a fine mess. When I tried to stream, he drew a hidden blast slash out, but before I could disarm him, one of my Stormknights panicked, and this is the result. How foolish of me that I arrested the bastard and bring an experienced recruit. Commander Liver will be most disappointed. Damn it all, golden opportunity wasted. As for the clients, though, we don't know how, but they slipped past our perimeter. At present, the first is currently tracking the party of dusk white sellswords we suspect may be them. Could have listed the aid of mortal flames or breastplates. Alas, we're here to aid them. They're in no position to aid us. At the very least, we've secured the weapons, yet even that caution is lacking. Further information we received indicated a massive shipment, and this is anything but. I'll join the first hunt this way, so if the gods are good, we'll catch them before they escape into the Black Shroud. In the meantime, as you deliver these weapons to Adal and Mysi, entrust them to the thirds, Yushe, and he will take care of the rest. Ever reliable friend to the Crystal Braves. You have my deepest thanks for your assistance in the Corvallis. Now what brings you us this day? You get the weapons from the certain black maps to your courtesy of Captain No, what did you say? Understood. Once we've calculated the contents, I'll have them delivered to the Hall of Flames. What? What? Less fiction? What does that mean? Good. Rules say with comments there will be a far greater quantity of weapons. I laid false and clear. They're all unfamiliar with the ways of all dawn merchants. Whoever strive to present themselves as greater than they are. We should be thankful that his information was not completely erroneous and that we managed to achieve anything of worth at all. It's still something worth surveying, isn't it, Lieutenant? Besides, we got more important things to worry, like fighting those Garleans up north. There'll be no fighting if I have anything to say about it. Our orders are to stand and watch, not seek glory in battle. If you have further need of us, I shall take my unit to the Cerulean processing plant. Time for the fourth to turn their keep a fight well for the freedom of all. Excellent work, as always, my friend. Rest assured that Mortal Flames will hear for contribution until we meet again. Don't say a word if you please. Not here. Look for me at Sapphire Avenue Exchange. No need for whistling this time. Don't you worry. Thanks for stopping by. Thank you. Thanks for indulging my request. Few places better than a market for privacy. All the hustle and bustle and commerce means most conversations go unnoticed. I'll get to the point. At the burning wall, when you and the captain interrupt the exchange, what happened? Tell me everything, leave no detail out. That's not quite how the first told it. These Duskwights they were chasing, the latest word is that we lost the trail. But you never saw me yourself? Not before fighting started and not after? Something ain't right. I know not what it is, but I feel it in my bones. I'm not daft enough to be misled by some merchant's drunken boasts. Our information was raw, goddammit. I know he purchased those weapons. As if I've never deciphered my lender's books, or had to follow a transaction back to its source. Plenty of all that back when the Braves were getting started, believe me. The commander wanted assurance that we weren't taking Gil from the wrong sort of benefactors. Of course, these days the money flow like water, and the first and third get the shiniest new toys. Forgive me, my friend. A lot on my mind these days. I'd appreciate you lending an ear. Right then, you best get to it. Also, can you hear me? This is Tartu. Your presence urgently requires Rising Stones. Please come and see me as soon as you're able. Here comes so quickly, Zelda. Got a guess from my scar who wishes to speak to you most. Determined lady by all indications. Right. Be right back. Go to the bathroom. I actually have dinner soon, so I'm just gonna finish up now. Mm. Mhm. Bye.